So what are we talking about today? We are talking about Snake Eyes, and that's why I'm wearing the Cobra hat, obviously. And you didn't really like it that much, huh?
No, first off, Snake Eyes doesn't talk in the animated version, so I thought it was odd. But as an
It's an origin. Yeah, it's an
origin
origin.
story,
Yeah.
well, it's a
G.I. Joe
Joe
origin.
origin
Yeah,
story,
too.
but that's okay. I got it, and I didn't mind it. But I wanted to see Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
I didn't see Snake Eyes, but for 10 seconds.
Yeah, we just
Spoiler
saw
review.
Spoiler. Yeah, so we didn't get to see Snake Eyes until 10 seconds now. This is where you guys might want to stop and wait until you watch the movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you do that, and then you can come back because we do spoilers here. It's been out too long, so we like to talk from what we think of it. I thought it was better than the first other two that were atrocities. Like the first one we don't even talk about. The second one was a little bit better. But yeah, I thought that it was pretty good. It explains where Snake Eyes got its name. And the interconnection. I like how you see the bond between Storm Shadow and him form and what happened and stuff like that. And one of the things that was talked about, Dan was talking about that we didn't get to do a video because of my mic. He's like, I don't understand the gem thing. You know, the gem, the thing and stuff like that. But I was like, if you remember the original series, they always had crazy things of mystical, magical, science fiction things that they went off of. And he's like, maybe that could have been from the Weather Dominator. Like, that could have been used for the Weather Dominator. Who knows? We don't know, because this was the first movie of the reboot. And I kind of like how they had Lady J, and I kind of like how they had Baroness in it, and like Cobra and G.I. Joes were kind of like in the sidelines for a bit of the movie. And the grandma was awesome.
Lady J or Scarlet?
I'm sorry, Scarlet. Yes, it was Scarlet.
Scarlet.
It wasn't Lady J, Scarlet.
Yeah.
Because I think Scarlet is connected more to G.I. Joe and Snake Eyes and Lady J.
So I didn't care for Scarlet. I thought it was, I felt like her character was so incredibly flat. And I did not, I don't think the casting was right for this one. I felt like she doesn't have the physique to be the character that she is.
So you're but how about the acting ability?
I thought it was very flat. I felt like I honestly thought she was not true to the character that we saw in the animated series, which is fine. If this is your take on it, fine. But I personally didn't care for it.
Yeah, she could have been a little bit more spicy because every incarnation, I will have to say, was more spicy for Scarlet. That's why she's called Scarlet. I think if they do a second movie, they need to work on that more.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be you're missing a thing. But I think I was more focused on the storyline of the origins with Snake Eyes. I kind of like overlooked that point. I do like Baroness. I think they did a better job with Baroness because it's not Duke's sister.
I think Baroness,
oh
Baroness
my God,
looked like the Baroness. I thought she acted too cartoony.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't. So one of the things I liked about Snake Eyes was they were treating it as if it could happen today.
Yeah.
They treated it serious. But then you had characters or like the Baroness. I was like, well, you're not treating it seriously. You're not treating it like it could happen today. I was like, I don't know.
So do you think it was the writers or the actors? What do you think? What's the problem with it?
So I don't usually blame actors. I usually blame the writers and the director.
Okay.
The director is the person who's trying to say, this is how I want you to portray the character. You iron out those details, and then the day of, there may be some people trying to take a little acting liberty with it to try different takes. That's fine.
Well, that's right, guys.
But so I'm not going to blame the actresses or actors. I just felt like the writing was just too corny for a movie that was trying to be serious at one point.
But you know what? It's been corny, but we've seen G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, how corny that was. That was completely corny.
So
And Retaliation got a little bit better, but I think that this is like an infant that they haven't gotten all their cogs fixed yet, all the problems. So hopefully the next one's going to be a little bit better because he still talks. And I think it's because him and Storm Shadow in the next movie is Storm Shadow's going to vocal cords.
Yeah. So
And I think it's going to get more. It's going to get better.
if they do a second one, because I don't know that the numbers were good enough for them to say, okay, we're going to do a second.
Back again, we're doing it with COVID right now, and that's the problem. Is because the streaming services are taking all the money from the theaters, and that's where they get their money. It's the theaters.
So I don't know if they'll do another one, but I think when you look at G.I. Joe as a whole, the whole realistic thing is very corny. Like, how do you portray Cobra unless you're just going to say it's a terrorist organization that migrates through different countries? That's fine. So, and then you could say that G.I. Joe is a multinational organization funded by the U.S. government and is a secret.
So you don't like the international thing? Huh?
I don't mind international. I don't mind that. What I'm saying is it is very corny. The villain is very corny.
So what is the difference between Hydra compared to Cobra? So this is what I'm going to ask you.
Well, what I saw was Hydra was actually a subsidiary of the Nazi Party and just spun off and did their own thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but what we're seeing with Cobra is they've got their own tanks, they've got their own army.
Okay, the only thing I could see them making this well is if they did it like G.I. Joe Renegades. That was like a 2011 series, which Cobra was they were into everything. And they were hidden behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like Walmart. They did pharmaceutical, they did farming, they did this, they did that. And behind the scenes, they were forming their own organization. If they did it like that, then I could see it working a little bit better. But I guess the writers need to figure that out. So it's not so like, oh my God, we're a giant snake, blah, 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 and this is what we're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to catch on to that. I understand, yeah.
Yeah, so I just, initially I just think it's going to be tough. And if you're going to treat the subject material serious, then treat it serious. If you're not, then don't. If you want it to be closer toward the animated show and later the comics, fine. Just dedicate yourself one way or another. And I felt in this movie, you treated yourself serious, the material serious, and then you also threw in a lot of corny stuff. For instance...
And we've had this problem before with other movies, whether they went either too serious or like in the middle, and you're like, what's going on, right? Hasn't been... Seems like the Hollywood thing to do right now.
And like, take for instance, one of the end scenes where G.I. Joe, all of a sudden, they all come together and they get that photo shoot where they're all standing and Snake Eyes looks over and says, "Yo, Joe." It was so bad.
Was that the end?
Yeah, that's when they all came together near the end. Not at the end, near the end. They came together. It was one of the worst things about that movie.
Well,
Yo, Joe, like, they were trying to find, you tried to find a way to say Yo, Joe in the movie, and you threw it in, and it was so awkward.
It was better than, like, the first one. Are those Joes? I'm like, what? Okay. I'm like, but I think it is a step up with all the, like, horrific things about the movie. It's very much a step up from the other two live action
I agree with
ones.
you there.
So we're still growing, but we still need to fix some more problems, it seems.
Yeah.
Hasbro.
And the other problem the movie has is we know who the villain is how we're gonna change a good guy to the bad guy.
That was an interesting concept, yeah. Having Snake Eyes like being the villain for the, well, not the villain.
Right. Okay. So
like,
now you
working
got
through,
he's not the bad guy, but he is
working
not a
through
good guy.
Yeah, he's working through some issues.
And then he becomes the good guy, but then you have a good guy that becomes the bad guy. And in the end, I walked out of the theater
Scratching your head
just
going,
feeling like,
yeah.
I wasn't scratching my head. I could see everything coming. It was just going to be, how does it play out? But I didn't like that we had this cross play. Like, I just didn't feel like that guy was going to be the villain. I just didn't feel like that was a nice transition.
Of the animated series do a better job with the origin
Like, they
story.
ended up fighting when there was something else they should have been concentrating on.
Yeah.
And they're fighting the whole time, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me, because both of them are really on the same side of this, should be fighting over there.
Yeah.
Didn't care for
So
that.
So Snake Eyes is it's like in the middle for you,
me,
right?
yeah,
in
yeah.
The middle.
Eh.
I thought it was better than that. I thought maybe because the like first one was total garbage and the second one was like a little bit better. Maybe that's why. But I really did appreciate this movie, and I think this movie's gonna be in the middle between fans. Either you're gonna like it or you're just gonna like whatever.
I just know that I did see another review where they mentioned that this is not an origin story for G.I. Joe, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it's right in the title. It is an origin story for G.I. Joe.
So there is going to be another video, and we're going to be talking about this title thing on another subject. So yeah, it seems like a lot of things are like combining right now.
Yeah.
So would you recommend a person to watch this movie? Or would you say, nah, this is total garbage?
No, I wouldn't say it's total garbage, and I totally agree with you that it is a step better than the previous two. And if they are going to do a couple others, then you're going to want to have watched this one, because they're going to tie into it for sure.
You know who they're doing next, right?
No.
They're doing Chuckles, and he's supposed to be a operative that sneaks into Cobra.
Okay.
So that should be interesting. Which I didn't like. The only time I saw Chuckles was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they had the new recruits and stuff, and Beach is just yelling at them and stuff like that. That whole crazy Cobra Lob one, like towel.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking? But yeah, that's going to be the next one. So hopefully they can improve that situation of things that need to get fixed, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, I did like Henry Golding. He played Snake Eyes.
Yes, I think he did a good job.
I think he did too.
He did a really good job. And actually, you know what? The actress who did like Storm Shadow, I actually liked him playing Storm Shadow.
I liked him too. I thought it was kind of odd how he became Storm Shadow. I thought it was even odd how he came up with the name, because there was nothing that led up to him.
She said, you know, oh, you got that look. It looks like a storm's coming.
Right.
You know?
And he said, call me Storm Shadow. So, again, it came out of nowhere.
Well, I think there were some origins, like he was like, oh, I'm a ninja, I gotta hide in the shadows, and
so
whatever.
Did Snake Eyes have a backstory about how he got his name?
Yes.
Through the whole movie.
Yes.
And Storm Shadow's like, call me Storm Shadow. That was his backstory.
That was just lazy writing. Like we have a lot of lazy writing in Hollywood, and it's not just the big movies. It's some of the animation too, which, like I said, we're definitely gonna talk about that. Yeah, awful.
Yeah,
just lazy writing.
Lazy
writing.
Oh
my god.
Lazy writing. Yeah.
Can't come up with something.
The other thing I'm gonna say too, it's coming to my mind now. I expected that they were going to show Snake Eyes get some sword training. And we never saw that yet. Boy, he's a master with that damn sword. Where Storm Shadow
was raised in the clan.
Clearly was a master. But now he's able to fend off. Snake Eyes can fend off this master of the sword.
Well, did his dad teach him anything?
Man,
when he was a kid?
I don't know.
Like,
I saw him master a knife.
A knife?
You could have shown him earlier in the movie with a sword to say he has some sword fighting skills.
True, and he does sneak out like a boss, like he's the perfect ninja. Like some of the things I'm like, where does his ninja skills come from when he he snuck in and I'm like, yes, there are some loopholes of lazy writing.
Hey, I'm gonna go up the steps. Oh, it's being guarded. Hi guys. Hold on, I'm gonna go to the left into the woods and come around.
Are you that stupid? Oh, okay. Yeah. How did they get into this? Nobody, was there a breach? No, so somebody's already here. Oh, okay. How fast did he get there? Oh, okay. Yeah, there was a lot of plot armor. A lot of plot armor that didn't explain it. That was like, we're supposed to accept things, and I don't know, like if you're a kid, you're like, oh, that's so cool, but there are older fans of this fandom, so yeah, you know.
So if you go see Snake Eyes, take your hat off, check it at the door, check your brain at the door, and just accept what you see, and maybe you'll come out of the theater saying, you know, Wayne was a little harsh with this movie. But if you don't do those things, you're going to come out of there saying, Wayne, you were too nice to that movie.
So you say, and this is what we like about the Geek Clan, because we're not going to...
I'm not trashing the movie.
We're not going to always see eye to eye and say it's amazing, it's great, and we like to have different opinions on things, because that's what makes it more interesting to hear the different things from it. You know, was it good? I thought it was good. Yes. Is there a lot of armor plot holes? Yeah, apparently there was, but I didn't see that because I was just in the lure like, wow, this is a lot better than the other two. Other than that, I thought it was actually kind of interesting. It would have been nice to see the Cobra Troopers, they were hidden and they had special pins, and like, oh, okay, so that's how we were.
But you know what, though? That was okay to me, because that's where I kind of felt like you treated it seriously, because are Cobra Troopers going to have a uniform?
Yeah, you're right. Right? Unless they're invading something, yeah.
Yeah, and again, where's their air base? Where are their airplanes? Where are their tanks?
It's in the swamp, remember?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they had all that technology. And they did have a lot of technology.
They have their offices right next to the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
They share the same swamp.
And then the Foot and the Empire next door. Yeah. So, okay, guys, tell us what you think about this movie. Reply, comment, whatever. And we're going to be on to the next one. So, talk to you guys later. Bye.